Legends, what is going on? Welcome to the webinar funnel tutorial. At the end of this module, you'll learn how to launch an effective webinar, outcomes, value add, sales loop, lead generation, brand awareness, establish rapport, establish connection, one to many, not one to one. So you're maximizing your time and your output by sharing it with maximum people there and then. So a webinar, we all know what they are. We've all done heaps. It's an effective way in marketing to really establish yourself as a lead authority, as a person who can assist and support and provide solutions. Gives you the ability to provide and seek immediate rapport and connection with people, which is absolutely critical. In the early stages of the sales loop or the marketing loop, it's connection and rapport that will make you win. If you can't establish connection and rapport with your market or your niche, then you're never going to win. If you can do the quicker you can do that, the quicker you can start to push people and move them through your sales process. If we can do this within 2 to 3 days and make these sales, you start the process on a Monday and you're pushing them through your sales process by Thursday, that's a really, really effective strategy and a good process. It's swift. Webinar helps us do that on a mass scale. You're not doing 1-to-1. You might be doing 1-to-5, 1-to-10, 1-to-20. It's pretty powerful. Now, the hardest part with a webinar is getting people to commit. So they might see your details and see the link and go, there, this is really cool. I opt in, I register for the webinar, but they don't turn up. Now, if you get one person to turn up, that's good. That's a good result. But if there was 10 that registered and 9 didn't turn up, okay, there's something going wrong. What you haven't done is you hadn't added enough value up front for people to commit to the webinar. It's as simple as that. So what you do, you send out a webinar, you send them an ad, connect on this webinar, or here's a time, we're going to do it on, you could do it on Skype. I use GoToWebinar. You pay, $150 a month, and you can then teleconference and do webinars. But if you don't have webinar, online webinar, or GoToWebinar, you can use Skype. There's lots of different variations to use. Just literally Google it. I'll never tell you what to use. I'll advise you on what I use and that it works. So I use GoToWebinar. But for you guys, you can use whatever system that supports what you need to. So what you do is you do your ad on Facebook, and your webinar would be around something that your niche is wanting. Again, if we use fathers, overweight fathers wanting and needing desperately to lose weight, then your webinar could be, are you a father struggling with your weight? You see your kids running around and you just can't keep up and it kills you, and you know your children are embarrassed. Find out how you can lose that. Find out now how you can gain your edge. Bang, it's punchy, it's real. There's a real emotional connection. When if you're a father and you're overweight, you read that, you're like, oh, far out, that's me. This is shocking. That's a power punch, that headline. It's a grabber. So they click on that. They're like, wow, I can't wait to learn how I can turn it all around. They opt in. Bang, I want in on the webinar. They sign up. All link confirmed. The webinar's in 4 days, because typically we do an ad 4 days before the webinar. Then what happens? It goes cold. They get busy. They can't be bothered. Stuff gets in the way. They don't commit. We don't want that. So what you need to do is then have some pre-filler. So let's say Monday you send out the ad for the webinar Thursday or the webinar Friday. That's a good timeline. What you want to do on Tuesday is send them an email of some content. Thanks, Joe, for registering for our webinar on Friday. Can't wait to rock some epic solutions for you. In the meantime, I'd really love to get to know you better and provide you some value-add content. We only give this to our exclusive VIP guests in our program, so I just ask that you just keep it between me and you, that you have this content. It's a 10-step process to how to lose 10 kilograms fast. Or it could be a strategy to outrun your children within 4 weeks. It could be develop the optimal mindset to control your unhealthy habits. Bang, all of a sudden they've opted in for your webinar, and day 2, they're getting this information. Wow, that's huge. Then what you might do is you might send them some content the next day. Something similar again, some really value add. Then you might have a break for a day. And then you might send them one more bit of content. And then on that final day of the webinar, you send them a reminder. Hey, Joe, Rob here. Really can't wait to connect on our 1400 webinar. The resources that I've been sending out have been so helpful for all of our clients. We'll go through that and so much more. This webinar offers huge benefit for all you guys. Can't wait to have you there. It's time we turn it around for you, bro, and rock some epic solutions. This is how we do it. We give them content all the way, so you're already adding value. So by the time they get to the webinar, they feel like they know you. You've established connection and rapport. You've already changed aspects of their life. You've already given them thought-provoking information and content. You've already shown them your value add. You've shown and proven to them that you are a lead authority. Now, what you're doing with these people is, you know what, if 10 people opted in and you get 7 or 8 rock up, that's pretty good. 7 or 8 rock up, they're already amped and pumped to hear what you have to say. You fucking deliver an epic webinar for an hour. And what you do throughout that webinar is you tell them that at the end of this webinar, they have the opportunity to get a free clarity session with you, normally valued at $3.99, $4.99, $6.99, depending how established you are. It could be $1.99. At the end of this webinar, guys, for being such epic, loyal people and for rocking up to this webinar, I want to give you guys a free clarity session. Normally valued at $3.99. It's free for you guys because I know how much you need this. I know how much it means to you, and I want to rock your world. I want to give you the opportunity right now to change it all. All you need to do at the end of the webinar is I'm going to put a link up on the end of the webinar. Click that link, and we're going to book you straight in. What this does is this, from the start of the webinar, keeps people interested. They're already excited because they're going to get something free at the end of it. Normally valued at $3.99, and it's free for them. Oh my God, how good is this? But not only that, it keeps them in the webinar. And you have to preface, this link will be at the end of the webinar. You have to be here at the end. So what you've done is you've now just stretched their time spent on your webinar. They have to be there for the duration to get this free prize. So because of that, they're all paying attention to that hour. You keep adding value, adding value, adding value. Bang, you're just providing punch the whole time. You're rocking their world. Of course they want your session. So now what you've done is you booked them in on Monday for the webinar. You've been giving them content the first 2 days, then you had a break, then you gave them content. So you've already been providing them with all this content. Because of that, you know what their vulnerabilities are because they're your niche audience. You've had a webinar on a certain topic, which is going to be obviously a hot topic, and now you're having a clarity session with them. You know why they're there. Your job then is to convince them why they need you. You create that leverage. This is the power of a webinar. If you have 7 people rock up, that's 7 clarity and 7 sales calls all in 1 week. 50% conversion, 3.5 sales. On a $3,000 program, that's $9,000, $10,000 a week based off 1 webinar when you do it right. I preface that sticking, when people register for your webinar, sticking for the 4 days is difficult. That's why you need to keep providing content and value add, content, value add. If you provide them nothing, they go cold, they won't rock up to your webinar. That's when you get 1 or 2 out of 10. We want 7 or 8 out of 10 to rock up. Bang, give them their free clarity session. Bang, give them a breakthrough session. Make the sale. That's the power of a webinar. Provide content, you don't stop. You've established rapport. You're already solutionizing for them. You're not doing one-to-one. You're not doing 7 hours of 1 hour webinars. 7 clients, 7 hours. No, you're doing 1 webinar for 7 people, 1 hour. You're maximizing your output, your effectiveness, and your time, your productivity. You're maximizing your sales. You could run 2 webinars a week then, 2 hours a week, 20 clients, bang. Sale at 50%, 10 conversions, $30,000 program, $30,000. That's how effective and powerful a webinar is when you get it right. Choose the right software. Get the right structure. Choose an epic topic, a killer topic. Simplify it for them. Add value. Give them content. Keep them committed to the webinar. There's a free session at the end of this for you guys for being such loyal, epic people because you need it and you deserve it, and I'm the one to make it happen for you. You keep them on that webinar. You book them in. That's the sales process for a webinar. Pretty powerful. As I said, it's one to many. Really awesome. Anyway, legends, get into it.